Hello guys, here is a 44-inch Hampton Bay carousel ceiling fan. The model number for this, I believe, is 234892, and it's from April of 2006. I got this fan from Facebook Marketplace for $10 and thought it was a good deal. So here I have it right now. And this fan right here came complete, except for the down rod, which is easily obtainable. As a matter of fact, I think I have a down rod that would work with this fan. It's a brushed nickel down rod, and it came with the Westinghouse Crusader ceiling fan that I got a few years ago. And I didn't use that down rod because it needed an extension down rod. It's for my dad's shop. So I decided, let's just save that down rod because I'll probably need it in the near future. It probably wasn't so near future at the time, but the time has now come where I'd appreciate that down rod. So I'll probably throw it onto this fan. It's brushed nickel, so I'm going to have to paint the down rod white. But other than that, it should be good. So I don't know if this fan has the hitch pin and counter pin. I very well could have to go to the hardware store and get those items, but those are easily obtainable. So this fan right here is another one of those hated models, and I don't understand what the issue is with this fan. It does seem to have an issue with the capacitor. It seems to make the motor have a cyclic hum, as you'll probably hear in this video. And just so you know, in case you guys can even hear this, we are having some severe winds, so there's going to be sounds of like stuff creaking. So just ignore those noises. We're having a very bad windstorm here. So I'm going to show you guys the fan here. Here's the light. I'm using 3 13-watt incandescent light bulbs with this fan. It seems to work pretty good. And I'm going to turn the fan on low. If I remember correctly, this fan is allowed to draw 1 amp on high and 55 watts. I can believe 55 watts, but I don't think there's any way it's going to draw 1 amp. Maybe with the light it does, but not the fan motor itself. Because 1 amp, I mean, if this literally draws 1 amp, I take back my statement about this fan not being so bad, because that is a ridiculous amount of power for a little 44-inch ceiling fan to consume. So this is low speed, and it's a nice gentle breeze. I can hardly feel anything, but that's how I think a low should be, is you just barely feel the air movement. Like enough air to move in the room, but not overpowering. And when I got this fan, the blades were kind of mangled from, I don't know if it was from sitting in the car, because this fan came fully assembled, and I thought it was small enough to fit in my car and it would just be fine. But one of the blades was like reverse pitch, so I had to bend it back. You know, all the other blades were, the clock wasn't right, so I had to correct that too. But it was a pretty easy fix because these blade irons, I think, are made of the same material as the Hampton Bay Huntington 3. And as you fan collectors know, Hampton Bay Huntington 2 Hampton Bay Huntington 2 and 3 ceiling fans, for that matter, had issues with the blades drooping over time. I think this fan is made by the same manufacturer, and it has the same material on the blade iron, so it's pretty easy to flex back. So this is low speed, it's drawing 0.4 amps. And since this has a wattage rating, I'm going to look and see what the wattage is on my kilowatt meter. It is 33. Here's medium. And there's that cyclic hum that I was talking about. I think one of the capacitors in this fan is spoiled, and I'm probably going to have to replace it at some point. But that's not an issue. However, I don't think this uses the same capacitor that Menards would carry, so it would have to go on the computer and buy one. And this fan right here is drawing 0.37 amps. So I think there's something wrong with the capacitors, because the ampage should be going up, not going down. I'm pretty content with this medium speed that it has. I could feel a noticeable amount of air. And no, it doesn't feel like a Casablanca Lady Delta, but it doesn't aspire to. This fan was, I would say, a pretty cheap model, and the Casablanca fans are like hundreds of dollars. Plus, you have the flywheels breaking, you have the hang false canopies, and I don't think the Casablanca Lady Delta did, but you certainly don't have IntelliTouch control nonsense with this. You don't have slumber quiet break-in. So all these things that are annoying about Casablanca, you don't have with this fan. So to me, I would definitely get this over a Casablanca Lady Delta. The Lady Delta, I think, moves a little bit more air than this, but for reliability issues and for price point, I would say this is a better value. I know that people are going to be attacking me in the comments, but that's just my overall opinion on Hampton Bay. And this is also from 2006, so this is why I think Hampton Bay is a pretty good brand, because things are getting really cheap by 2006. And for what it's worth, I think the motor in here is at least fairly respectable still. Not to mention the design, I really like the rainbow blades. And I think Fans Alarms, Lighting, etc. is going to like this one too, because he's really into rainbow ceiling fans, particularly pastel blades, it seems like, which this fan actually does have. So I'll make a separate video of this fan with the pastel blades for Fans, Alarms, Lighting, etc. to see. So I'm sure he really would like to see it. And this is from 2006, so this is the last year of ceiling fans not having a wattage limiter. Now high. This fan is drawing 0.4 amps, so definitely not 1 amp like it says on the motor tag. I don't know why the ampage is rated so high, because there's no way that a little 44-inch fan is going to draw 1 full amp, probably not even in a lock rotor state. It's drawing 47 watts, so even that is under spec. Now, I think one of the capacitors is spoiled, because on low I could barely feel anything at all. The high capacitor I think is okay still. I think it's just the low and medium capacitor that are having a problem, because this doesn't have a hum at all, which I've been told by somebody that that cyclic hum that you heard on medium is from one of the capacitors spoiling. So I would like to hear from somebody who's really into ceiling fans to hear what kind of capacitor I should get for this fan and what values. Because I'd like to use this fan, but that cyclic hum is not going to be usable for me at night when I want to sleep with this on. But I certainly like this fan a lot. I like the rainbow blades, and I like the blade irons that they have. And I think this is an overall very nostalgic fan. I remember one of my friends used to have one of these in her room, and unfortunately they moved out, so I don't ever get to see that fan again. And unfortunately, it would surprise me if that fan was uninstalled and replaced with some modern junk. And I do have another moment of this fan that's kind of a more recent one. It was when I was 12 years old, so COVID times. It was town cleanup week, so people were just laying out their junk in front of their houses. And I remember I was asking Mom, hey, can I get the ceiling fan? And she said no. She was a lot stricter about fans in the house back then because we didn't have storage shed yet at the time. And because it was COVID time, she was really trying to challenge me something like, hey, what if the house has COVID? And I mean, yeah, that was a very real thing back then. Now, that's 2020, so that was when COVID wasn't treated like the flu. I mean, COVID's still around today, but it's treated like the flu. And now off. Well, there you have it, my 44-inch Hampton Bay Carousel 2 ceiling fan. Thank you. Have a nice day.